Okay, and once in meeting, click on the chat. Bottom of the, huh. More. No one. Yeah, that doesn't work. Hey, Rob. You there? You good? You there? I did.
Hey, Scott, can you hear me now?
Yes, can you hear me?
Great, I got
Yeah.
you. Excellent.
Okay, Shane is out.
Okay.
He just said he couldn't make it, so I have no idea what I'm doing, so bear with me.
No, you're doing great. Do you think, or did you want to share anything tonight to look at?
Well, I'll give you the state of operations and where we're at. I think Peggy sent you the EOC thing that she was trying to get through, the executive order.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So pretty sure I'm set with staff for the weekend. And then moving forward for the boating aspect during the week. So I think we're good. Hey, MP.
Okay.
Good morning,
Hey,
good
MP.
evening.
Hey, so it all comes down to the matter of her being able to get that signed, and whether we feel it's a good idea, which I do because people are not listening. So we can go from there.
Okay.
And the
Hey, Pam.
only one we're missing right now. Hey, Pam.
Hello.
The only one we're missing is Vin. Right now, Shane just said he couldn't make it, so
Okay.
it'll be just us, and then the other guys are just attendees if they have it, which is Joe, and so just to let you know, his wife Florence passed away on Easter. So He's kind of rebounding a little bit. And Ted is okay, as far as I know, after him losing his daughter. And it's either Bill or Alicia that would come on as attendees. And then we have Bruce. So, and I don't know if Bruce will go to the Board of Finance or to us. So, and Vince
Okay.
is coming. Vince is coming on now, so. I have no picture for Vince, but do I have audio? Vince? Hey, Vince.
Yes, yes, Scott.
Okay. No
Does that
picture,
work?
but yep, I got your, you got your audio. So I was just
No picture.
explaining to no picture, but everybody's here except for Shane. And Bruce hasn't signed on yet. So I think we can proceed and we can move forward. Up to you, Rob, to open it up.
Yeah, so we'll open this up as a meeting, and I don't know that we have other attendees. Can the other attendees comment, just so I know out of courtesy? Can they comment or no?
I will have to click them in if I see them. But right now, I don't see anybody else. And again, I'm a novice to all this, as a lot of us are, so bear with me. Hey, Vince.
That's
There we
all
go.
good.
Yeah, good
Hey,
picture,
Vince,
Vince.
how are you, bud?
Good to see everybody. It's good.
So,
I mean that more than
Glad you're back from Florida.
Yep.
Hope you didn't bring anything back.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks. It's good to be back, I think.
So, it is. It's good to have you back. Glad you're healthy. Glad everyone's doing well. I guess we'll call this meeting to order, and then from there, we'll go through the agenda. So calling the meeting to order at 7:03. As far as minutes to be approved, everyone feel comfortable if we move forward with the minutes from our last meeting?
The only thing I had, because it was so long ago, we had the wrong date, and I've already apprised Kristen of it. The meeting was actually March 3rd, and I think it was listed as the 4th. So she'll make that correction.
Okay.
But other than that, I think everything was good.
Okay. So
Just a question.
we should entertain a motion to approve. Yeah, go ahead, Pam.
I just have a question. Is someone taking minutes of this meeting or is it being recorded?
Kristen is on.
Oh, yeah.
Kristen was invited, so she's listening as an attendee. So if we need her, I think I can click to get her comment.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from March 3rd. And then once the motion's on the table, we can make the edits, which would be to the date. So Vince, MP.
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay,
I'll
so Vince
second.
is motioning. Okay. So I think we have Vince as a motion to approve the minutes and MP to second.
That's fine.
Any, okay, thank you. And are there any comments other than to change the date? Okay, so the minutes will reflect the date of March 3rd, not March 4th. All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Okay, great. The first order of Beach and Rec remote business has been concluded. So the agenda is really been kept tonight to two things. One is the director's report. There's a lot of updates, and I think some of you may have some of it, but it's really a chance for Scott to kind of report out and let him kind of guide us on the things that he's working on. We've probably got a lot of questions. Part two is really to have some discussion around where he might need some support or guidance, or where we might have questions. And that's really the goal of tonight's meeting, really to serve as an advisory group. Scott, a point of clarification. Will you be reviewing what Peggy wants to provide as an emergency ordinance?
Yeah,
or did you want me to
that'll
kind
be
of
part
read
of it.
that through from the email?
I think
Okay.
that'll be part of it, and you can interject as far as where we're at. I'll try to explain it, and if anybody needs clarification, we can certainly go from there.
Okay. So just as a point of housekeeping, if you look at your camera on your screen of your image in the top right-hand corner, there is a mute button. You can't hear me anymore, and then when I turn it back on, you can. Mute, yeah. There might be a need to mute yourself. That way when Scott presents, and then come off mute when you have a question. Sounds like there's a little echo.
Everybody good?
Okay.
Okay. So as far as the state of our operations right now, we are like in big questionable state as to whether or not we can run programs throughout the summer. We're right now, all programs to the end of June have been canceled. We're looking at revamping some of the programs for July and August, and looking at the size of the programs and how we can best manage to meet the executive orders of social distancing, as well as the Office of Early Childhood Education, where certain mandates are out there that you can't have more than 10 in the group. And so we're gonna have to look at, like summer escape, for example, we're gonna have to spread out within Surf Club building, the 2 rooms, and then move out to the field houses with 2 other groups of 10 or less with the counselors in order to satisfy the executive order. So we're going through that. We're going to be meeting with Peggy to go over all the different programs that we ordinarily offer and come up with our suggestions as what we actually can essentially offer to the public. The large groups, I think sailing's done. I think the basketball is done. The larger soccer camps, Tiger football, a lot of programs where we have larger groups. The self-recreation programs such as fishing, mountain biking, golf, where we set up on lower campus and they're all spread out along the lower field. They go have their own club, they hit towards the bank, and then they go retrieve what they hit. We're hoping to get that passed through. And we're also looking at some innovative programming, such as outdoor movies, the old drive-in movies, where we will hire a firm that brings in a screen, and people will be in their cars, and you dial in on your radio to hear the audio of the movie. So that's one idea, and we're also looking at possibly drive-in concerts, where we would set up the stage. We would have the bands. This would all be at the Surf Club instead of running 6 to 8. We try to dial it back 5 to 7, so the noise doesn't impact the neighborhood. But the band would be there. We'd have the audio, same as we usually do, where people could be in their cars, listening to the music and enjoying the concert. So those are a couple of the ideas that we're running around. Nature camps should be going okay, because they're small in nature. as well as all the other little programs where we have less than 10 in each group, and we can clearly have them hand sanitizing, bathroom breaks, washing their hands, masks being worn, staff wearing masks, and they're all contained. So we have to run this all by Peggy to get approval of being able to do all that. So that's our plan. Sailing, as I said, is probably a no-go because there's more than one in the boat. So a lot of the programs may be ditched for the summer, unfortunately. We're even looking at canceling late summer and fall leagues. Any sports camps that we have, which are small in nature, that are not contact oriented, we may be able to run in August, depending upon what relief measures are in place. So it's all a wait and see. Right now, all our programs are on hold through the end of June. And if you look on our website, on the banner up top, it should be saying, you know, we're not taking any registrations right now. Please check back as we work through and figure out what programs we can offer. As far as operational challenges, we're looking at, and this will lead into an executive order that Rob mentioned earlier. We're looking at starting this weekend, we will be posting, and Surf Club, East Wharf, and West Wharf will be open to residents only. And that is going to be, we are going to man the gates, and people will need to show proof of residency, which is driver's license, tax bill, or car registration, or some may have at that point a seasonal sticker for 2020. We processed over 60 some odd today, and we've emailed the stickers and the receipts back to the people. So hopefully they'll get them by the weekend. But that's our plan for the weekends up until June 20th, where we would start and implement the hopefully the pass system, where everybody would have to have seasonal sticker, and we're even holding off at that point until we determine a date for non-resident daily sales or not the guests of Madison residents, because it's imperative that we keep social distancing down and keep the crowds low. I don't want a lot of confrontations like happened at the dollar store. If anybody saw that, or somebody got killed, or another person that was trying to enforce got tossed off the seawall. So people are going a little nuts, being told what to do and what not to do, and we're trying to be knowledgeable, saying, hey, you can't be within 6 feet of each other. You need to wear a mask, maintain that. Otherwise, you know, the police are going to get called in, and they're going to have to take steps. So that's kind of where we're at. I do have staff ready to go for this weekend. I just have to develop the schedule. Signs are being made, and I'll have them in place to go on the gate guard huts at all 3 beaches by weekend, and we'll take them in during the week. We're canceling a lot of the rentals because the groups are larger than 5, which is what is the executive order right now. So those are going to be canned. Memorial Day right now the parade is going to be a virtual parade with color guard. There is going to be a flyover, but it is all going to be virtual. So the parade is not going to take place as it usually does. And as far as I know, July 4th is going to be postponed until Labor Day. So we will have, on Labor Day weekend, we will have the parade, the fireworks, the concert on Labor Day weekend. And we did just get word today that schools are closed for the end of the year. So now we have all the kids pretty much out of school. I know they have courses left to go. We're working with Joan Walker, and she's requested with Jack and the Jack Drum and the EOC to try to do a graduate parade up to the high school, ending down at the surf club with the kids entering the plaza, no guests, where they would sit on the plaza, and there would be a video screen on Strong Field displaying videos of the kids, and that would be in place of Night in Hand. But there, she was looking at, wait a second, July 26th or August 2nd is her proposed date. So where they would have the parade through the center of town, go up and travel through the school, and then go back down to the surf club by Cops Road and park in the parking lot and enter Strong Field, get their goodies, go out on the bleachers, and then watch the videos. No parental input or attendees, let's say. Other than that, waiting for the budget tonight. They're meeting as we speak to figure out where we're at as far as staffing goes. I believe we're going to be, from what I understand, we're probably going to be back to the 5-day-a-week coverage for lifeguards and gate guards. So we may be closed Monday, Tuesday, but we'll be open with lifeguards and gate guards Wednesday through Sunday. So I think that's where we're at. That's as far as the admission goes. We're working on the new online piece. Hopefully that's going to be coming soon, that people can purchase online. We're already accepting the mail-in renewals. And what else on that one? The new splash page for registrations. We have a meeting on Friday, which may go into effect early next week, where everybody will see the new Madison Recreation website, which is going to be very well received. I think it's a lot easier to navigate. We've already changed over what programs we have for July, August, hopefully. And then fall will fall into the new format. So I think you guys will be really pleased. It's a nice format, easy to navigate. You click on a category or type of activity you want, and that brings you to all the different things, and then you can zero down, okay, I'm a senior, what's there for me? And you'll be able to get the information you want. And it will all shrink down to your phone or your tablet, so it's going to be reactive. So more on that after next week. I'll be able to update you through email. I had tried to do a memo to everybody with an update, and that got delayed as I wanted approval. And as you can expect, Peggy is very, 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 very busy on all fronts. So it didn't happen as I wanted to keep you updated. So I'm open to any questions. Rob, what are your thoughts?
So let's just take a pause for a second. So first question, Scott, did you call in through your computer or are you on a cell phone?
I'm on my computer.
If you have a cell phone, do you want to try calling in? Because there's a little bit of an echo.
I don't think that's on me.
I can show you.
I don't think that's on me. There's nothing in here.
Yeah, sometimes the computer has a little background noise.
There's no noise in my office. It might be Vince.
It could be my house.
Yeah, that could be. Put yours on mute so we can't hear you until you want to speak.
Okay.
Because I'll see Vince's box light up every once in a while, and even though he's.
Okay.
I think it's his dogs. Yeah, there we go. I think it's his dogs.
There you go. Thank you. My
It's only
apologies.
me, Rob. Sorry.
I wasn't. Sometimes the computer it can cause some wacky stuff. So that's great. You're in good shape. Okay. So I do want to show the email of the ordinance that the town's considering. So I think you guys should have that. And then
Well, it's an executive order. It's an executive order. It's ordinance.
Okay, executive order. Sorry.
Yeah. It's okay.
The only context that I would add, just in speaking with Peggy and Scott over the past couple of weeks, is that Art was moving full steam ahead on our online ordering, but with the situation with the school, he's responsible for all the public schools and their internet and their IT. So that was slowed a little bit. Peggy and Scott are optimistic that by mid-June, prior to going live and checking, that we should be able to sell online, at least to those individuals that had already registered, if not new people. So I think that's more of a weekly update. It's good news to hear that the new splash page could be up and operating as early as next week. So I think we're going to have to keep an eye on that. I think that was the only other piece. I mean, I think, Scott, let me share the screen then on what was sent over, and you guys can tell me when you can see this. Can you guys see my screen?
Nope.
There it is.
Sure.
There, I see.
Should be external draft executive order, not for distribution. So just to give you some context, because I think this will drive, I'm sure we're all hearing different things. I think we need to understand where Scott needs assistance from or opinion to weigh in. So there are 3 items here. I'll read it for those of you that I hope you can see it. But for the months of May, June, and July 2020, parking at all town beaches will be limited to capacity levels that maintain a safe, reduced volume of visitors to the beaches and allows for the practicing of any applicable social distancing directives. Capacity levels will be established by the Director of Beach and Recreation in consultation with the Director of Emergency Operations and the First Selectwoman, and adjust to accommodate for any emergency actions that might be taken by DEEP to the parking capacity at Hammonasset State Park. And for the months of May, June, and July, access to all parking lots and Madison beaches on Saturday and Sunday and holiday shall be limited to town residents only who, 1, purchase and display a valid season parking pass. 2, for a limited time only, demonstrate proof of residency. Policies regarding the proof of residency will be established by the Director of Beach and Recreation in consultation with the Director of Emergency Operations and the First Selectwoman, and will only apply until season pass purchases are more readily available to residents. And Chief of Police shall have the authority to bar from the Madison public beaches and parks anyone who does not comply with the prohibition against more than 5 people congregating or the requirements to maintain recommended social distancing. So those are what's up. If you haven't seen it or if this is the first time, I think this is some context for really some other details. Scott has shared that not putting the picnic benches out as usual, maybe putting them out just attached to the barbecues. There's some discussion, we've already removed the trash barrels from the surf club per se. There's just the dumpsters. How do we support his staff? There is some question about opening the back gate. Do we need to? When do we need to? According to this ordinance. I mean, these are all things that Scott has to consider that it would be really, I think, important for this group to weigh in and have a position of support or recommendation. And I think that's how we can probably best support Scott and the many choices that he'll be coming to make. So at this point, I will stop talking and kind of open it up to the group for some questions and some discussion, and then we can kind of see maybe after that where we need to focus, or maybe someone has some ideas on maybe where we need to prioritize or organize. So just to keep people on one line, maybe we start with MP, go to Pam, Vince, and just maybe go through the questions, and then we can go from there. MP, just how's this occur to you? Anything top of mind? Anything that you're thinking about?
Well, was I supposed to have seen this before? You keep saying some people have seen it before.
We
'Cause it's the
just got it
first-
this
No, I said I don't
afternoon.
know if anyone's.
Yeah, okay.
I got it
we just got, I just got
45, I think.
I got the draft from Peggy this afternoon. MP.
Okay. Well, I mean, on a first look, it seems fine to me.
I have it in email form, Rob, so I can send it out to everybody. I mean, she said not for distribution, but I think I could probably send it out to you guys. So you see there, my copy has a lot of red lines where they crossed out and they're modifying it, but you'll definitely see a gist of what
Okay.
we've got.
Anything else? So it seems fine. I mean, Pam, any comments?
Well, I do want to say that I looked at the online form and I printed it out and I thought, you know, is that working for you, Scott, or have you received any?
Oh, we had a stack of like this in the mail. So I think we processed, we're up to 8. We've sold those, like, we processed over 87 passes today. And we still have some of that stack left, and I'm sure we'll have more tomorrow.
And I just wanted to compliment you on the online, where do I display my sticker image? I thought it was very clear. I thought, oh, that's great. It's right here. It's very, very nice. So,
Well, the
thank you
first draft said exterior, and I'm going, no, interior.
And then I guess, Scott, how do you feel about the directives in the executive order? Does that make sense to you?
I think it's what we need to manage. People, unfortunately, it's like the winter, they're getting cabin fever. They're starting to go crazy. And the more help we can get with the police department, as far as interjecting with social distancing, we're trying to educate, but then if they don't get, we're moving on. I'm dealing with people wanting to get their boats on the racks. They're doing very well. They drop them off. They come back out to the main lot. And if they want to do something more with their boat, they park and they walk back. I think all of them want their boats out of their yard for some reason. I don't know. We did have an issue this past Sunday where I have David and Mason on the weekends, managing that middle gate and trying to keep tabs on what people are doing, where we maxed out. And David called me, can we close the gate? I said, yes. Then he calls me back in 2 minutes. Well, can people park on the road or walk in? I said, if they park on the road, it's a towaway, posted as no parking, towaway zone, call the police. Police responded down, and I have to talk to Jack, but the officer asked if we could open up the middle gate, to open up the back lot. And I said, absolutely not. Because that's an emergency office management decision. And I'm coming up with a plan that we can open up partially, but I have to do a fair amount of work to barricade off a lot. So they can go out, do the boat rack circle, and come back in and park in the parking lot by the bocce courts. But the initial lot, when you make that left on the pavement, will be closed. The one by the dumpster, the one dumpster in the portalette that's there now, that'll be closed off, as well as the grass lot. I'm chaining that off and blocking off the first initial lot. So we'll have front lot and the area by the bocce courts. And that's it.
Are the restrooms staying closed?
The restrooms, we've been requested to remain closed.
Scott,
Yeah, we have
can
more or
can
less.
for a second?
Sure.
Scott, is there any way, and maybe I missed, when I missed the meeting or missed something while I was away, but is there any way to put out what you just put out in the beginning of the meeting to us, to update us on the programs, the tennis, the pickleball, all the sports programs, the surf club, all of those things that you just mentioned that you gave us? Is there any way that you could provide all of that to the residents of Madison in some form?
I think between myself and Peggy, that's going to be getting out to everybody.
Okay, but it is, because what you just put out, I had a whole list of questions, answered a lot of those questions. And I think from the folks that I've talked to that keep asking, well, what about the courts? What about the programs? What about sailing, et cetera, et cetera? And I think to give the residents a little bit of hope, you're talking about drive-in, the possibility, here's some things we're thinking about, just to give the, not an impression, but the concept that, hey, we're moving ahead, we understand, what your needs are, et cetera, kind of
That
thing.
is a lot of what you just mentioned, Vince, except for the ideas about the movies and the in-car concerts. That is on the recreation website as the scrolling marquee up top now. So if you go on to Beach and Rec online registration, there's a scroll that says alert. Everything that we just talked about is there for the most part.
Okay.
Okay. You might want to check that out, but we will be getting something else out to everybody, but that was our initial stab to get most of the people that typically go onto our website will be alerted to that. And we are looking for a larger Rec Connect, which is a mass emailing to our database.
Great.
Let everybody know what we're doing.
Okay. Can I just, Rob, if I can, just two
Go ahead,
other
yeah,
things.
sure.
Scott, July 4th, I'm assuming, Exchange Club.
Yep, I'll go over that in a second.
Okay.
But what's your other one?
My other one is does anyone else feel that we put the gate guards at jeopardy with, a physical contact with people coming in?
The staff, I'll pitch in, the staff will be wearing masks and gloves in case they need to physically take possession of a driver's license to see it. It is social distancing. If they can, if my kids can read at a distance, they won't have to get close enough.
I'm just, as you are, I'm concerned about that. Yep. Okay.
Sure. Rob, do you want me to circle back to the July 4th stuff?
Sure.
The way we have it right now, Vince, is July 4th parade is going to be the Saturday of Labor Day weekend. Fireworks will be the Friday night of Labor Day weekend, with the concert being on Sunday of Labor Day weekend. And as far as I know, the rain date for fireworks will be Monday of Labor Day weekend. Okay. And then the following week, that coming Saturday is the JC Triathlon, Saturday after Labor Day. And then the weekend before Labor Day, we're trying to push the Rotary Club with their carnival.
Wow.
That's it. That's kind of where we're at right now. But we will be having that big event meeting where we call in all the groups, the fireworks, the parade, and everything. EOC will be establishing a meeting, and we're going to be getting together to work all that out.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So Vince, Scott had shared with me that he had given Peggy a series of these updates, and some of it is a matter of the emergency ordinance and just trying to figure things out as a moving target. You know, Peggy or the commission probably needs to create that update, and I think that's something Peggy is here. You know, she is aware of and wants to do along these lines here. Scott, where do you want backing? Like, where do you feel like you want us to be aware of some big moves that may or may not happen, and you would want any support from us or just council? Or
I think the biggest thing is I will try to get you guys updates as they come in. That's what I'm trying to do. I mean, it's like a whirlwind here. Literally, it's like a twister. I think I'm in Kansas, but I'm not. Once I get definitive actions and whatever, I will send them out to you just so you know, because I know you will be hearing from the public, say what's going on here, what's going on there, just so you're informed about it. I mean, we did have a complaint about trash at East Wharf, and we got there late yesterday, and somebody had already complained, and when we got to the barrel, there was a bag of trash from a house. I mean, our barrels can't handle that stuff, so we put more barrels out, but another option is putting a dumpster at East Wharf. So, because we do not have our summer college kids in yet, who typically do bath and trash in the hours where the grounds guys aren't in. So we haven't been able to open that up yet.
Scott, tell us a little bit about the schedule that the grounds guys are on right now. Are you still splitting the times?
Next week, they should be coming back full time, so we can start getting ahead of things. Right now, we're mowing twice a week because the grass is growing so fast, and we still have a ton of projects that we have to catch up on top of stuff at the school. Billy wants things done so their groundskeeper can come in and apply seed and fertilizer and what have you. I mean, right now we're doing like half shifts through the week, and I believe next week we're going to be coming in. They're going to be doing their full shifts.
Scott, can you just?
But we don't have enough trucks because they're only supposed to be driving one per truck.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Scott,
an issue.
can you you may have said it, I didn't hear it. The update on the lifeguard program that's going to start.
Vince, it all depends upon what the Board of Finance is doing tonight.
Okay.
They're voting on the 2021 budget. It's my understanding that we're going in with lifeguards and the gate guards 5 days a week. Don't know if I'm going to have the funding for it all until the end of June, but opening up only the last full week of June, I think I can try to skinny some things out. But we'll do. The intention is guarding Memorial Day weekend all the way up through June 20th, where then we go into 7-day operation.
Mm-hmm.
How do we think we can keep the lifeguards safe? I can understand the gate guards because they've got plexi, right, windows, and like David and the building staff can distance themselves. But what are the issues for lifeguard safety?
Well, they're up on the stand, and then we may be able to yell to them, say, "I'm sorry, you're in trouble, but I can't come out to you." I don't know. I don't know what Red Cross is coming up with as far as what we're supposed to do, because we can't go out with a mask.
Right.
You know, everything. I think a lot of it is going to be, if they're active, you're going to toss them a buoy and hope that they grab it. I mean, if they're if they're out, we're gonna, I guess we're gonna have to go and tether them and pull them in.
Yeah.
And then hopefully EMS will be there when we get them on shore. But
Mhm.
that's not gonna happen. I don't want that to happen on my watch.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's something we need to ask David to say, because he would be asked by a selectman or a selectwoman, anyone would want to know the answer to that question. So that's probably something we need to say, be prepared for that answer.
and that's Red Cross protocol, first responders, and it's a lot different than the land. So I don't know how they're planning on guards to do it.
I
Good
have
question.
two questions. One is more just tactical, but I don't know how practical it is. And I had shared this with Scott, and it's more about supporting him and his staff. If we were carry in, carry out for trash, does that make sense? I mean, it's horrible to hear that people are just throwing the trash down. Is it going to happen anyways? The grill is going to be open down there. He's not going to set up tables. People are going to be able to take their food out. But right now, today, people dump their trash in the dumpster. It gets full. Do we just say it should be carry in, carry out? Is that, or should we just put more dumpsters out? I mean, do you guys have an opinion on, do we even touch that?
If people would carry their stuff to the dumpster,
Yeah, that's what
it
they're
would be
supposed to
less
do.
of a problem than them trying to fit everything in the barrel as they come off the beach or leave their picnic table. And the concession. I mean, we provide a trash barrel there, and he tries to recycle, but maybe if it's not there, put up a sign, dumpsters located adjacent to the parking lot, please use. I don't know, I've talked to Peggy a couple of times, especially about this past weekend with East Wharf, to consider carry in, carry out. I mean, I don't know how to enforce it. That's the problem. People are
The only reason I ask
people are
is we're
doing what
asking
they
your
want.
staff to remove. Well, yeah, I mean, that's the hard part. We're putting your staff at risk to now go deal with empty bottles, cans, foods, plates, forks. I'm just thinking about from that perspective.
Sure.
Under the current circumstances, I mean, people, the people that leave trash are going to leave trash. I don't know that we're going to change that, but so it was a thought. I think my position with Scott is if he comes to that position and he were to bring that to us, we'd want to be able to get behind that unless we felt that we had another solution. I guess the other question I have is, under what circumstances would things have to get so bad that we would actually have to close the beach or close the lot or limit it? One is the state says we're not going to do it. Hammonasset says we're closing, or the state says it, and we could follow that. I'm just curious, Scott, at what point are we on another call over the summer where we say it's gotten so bad that we're going to have to change things? Just trying to be proactive. What would get you to say, I want to draw a line in the sand and we got to shut things down?
Well, I think that it's part of the EO that Peggy drafted up, that we have to completely monitor it. If I feel that right now we're looking at the front lot and then half of the big process lot. I mean, if we go past that, I think we're going to be past the landscape and beach area to properly social distance. In all honesty, I mean, we're going to try to tie down the picnic tables so they can't be moved and ganged up. But it just as a capacity wise, you have 100 in the front lot, and say we have 150 in half of the back lot. So you got 250 cars times Okay,
More
three
people,
per
1,000
park,
people.
3 or 4,
Mhm.
yeah. I anticipate the grass lot that's by the skate park, keeping that closed off. And if they keep on pushing me to open that other lot, we're gonna be well over capacity. And we're just gonna have to close the gate and let people out. And when it settles down, then we can let people back in. Similar to, I mean, the state last weekend, I think they closed 3 times.
Okay.
And people, in talking with Bill from the state park, people are crazy.
Yeah, a lot of our ability to manage it hinges on people's ability to be aware and, follow the rules.
Right. Yep.
And
That's where I'm going.
they should have a desire to do so.
And that's my biggest concern is that, and I don't want to, but we have to prepare for what happens when gate guards are verbally assaulted or they feel not physically comfortable. What happens when a lifeguard has to go down and some guy says, well, this is my family of 7. You're not going to separate us. Like, I think we need, whatever that escalation plan is, Scott, it's probably something where at what point do you call a supervisor? What point do you call the police? But I think we probably should think about that over tonight or the next month.
Well, in our
because
last,
at what point are we going to?
go ahead. In our
No, please go ahead.
in our last senior staff meeting, Jack Drum. I believe he said he had 3 openings that were not filled with officers who have left. And I believe he was going to utilize those funds to dedicate a couple of officers down along the waterfront to be going in, checking on things, which I think would be great, because our staff needs to know they're there and they're on our side. Not suggesting us, like I said on Sunday, open up the back lot. Okay, there's a solution to the problem, but no, it's not the right solution. This is what we have. People have to be told, no, we're full, go home.
Did you get police support over the weekend, this past weekend, where we had 2 sunny days?
They came down on Sunday, like I said, but the officer's suggestion was to open up the middle gate, to open up the back parking lot.
So they were there, but they weren't necessarily support.
Correct. So I had just told David, said, it's an executive order. It's not happening. Tell them to ask their chief for clarification.
So that's a communication issue. We need to make sure there's alignment when these, on how you will.
The officers need to know that they need to back us up, that this is the way it is, and don't try to find a happy solution for the residents. No, it's closed. Go home. Try again tomorrow. Yeah, it was like I think it was like 2:30 in the afternoon. They came down. People were coming down, and it was packed. It's the same thing as July 4th. If you don't come down early, you don't get a parking space.
Okay.
So,
And that's also a communication on our behalf that this is what the policy will be and it will be enforced. Okay. And that also brings up Rockland Preserve. Scott had shared that Rockland Preserve continues to be very busy on great weather, and people are parking on 79. The lots are overfilled, and we don't have anyone directing traffic, and we don't have anyone there to manage that. Bruce had mentioned at the last meeting, how do we get to a staffing level there? I'm just curious, Scott, is that something, given the current set of circumstances, that we ask for, or are we past that?
Well, I just emailed Jason Engelhardt, who's kind of created these things, and he's got some ideas, and he was gonna try to vet them out through his group to see what could be done as far as monitoring and controlling it. So I'm waiting to hear from him. We do have the 18th Yeah, the 18th is the next Rockland meeting. So I hope to have something before that, obviously. I think Jason will get back to me pretty soon as to what his ideas are. It's hard. I looked at trying to close off Route 70 line lot. I could put in a gate, but if I don't put it down by the road, people are just going to pull up on the apron and then pull up on the sides. So otherwise they have to create barriers all the way up.
And there's already signage as to not parking on the road.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. There's no parking signs all around town too.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
But, you know, they're finding places, but they are overcrowding the lots because and I get it, they're going out and going on the trails. I think the trails are busier than I think we want them.
Mhm.
And that's how we have to try to control it. So I am working with Jason Engelhardt on that, and I'll try to come back to the group with a email recommendation on how we can try to do it.
Okay. So a lot of updates. I guess the question for the group
Can
is
I
there
just
anything
jump
that you
in here and
feel like you did?
Rob,
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
can
Vince.
I just,
Yep.
I just want to jump in here and say, I have to compliment your staff and you on the Bower Park place. We were up there the other day, took my kids and my grandkids, and you know, that's a real gold mine there. That's just a golden spot. And then you can see the fields were plowed, you know, were mowed and everything. Everything looked great. And what was the interesting thing was that not everyone, but a lot of folks were planting their gardens for the year. I think you have like 150 or so plots.
Yep,
And there must have been 20
150.
folks out there planting, which is so nice to see. You know, it just gave everybody a shot in the arm about, you know, summer is going to be here, you know, sooner or later. So just a compliment.
In some form or another.
In some form or another, exactly. So
Since we're
just
on
a
the
side note.
topic,
Thanks, Vince.
since we're on the topic of Bower Park, I was just kind of looking forward. Do you have any thoughts about the Harvest Festival? And right now, I will be honest with you, I have and I told Holly and Ted that I basically have suspended fundraising for the Harvest Festival at this point because there's so many other greater needs. And I was just so.
We're gonna have to wait and see this thing. Unfortunately, because we're going to be going back into cooler weather, this thing may pop up again. I mean,
Right.
we could have a resurgence, and it could come back worse than it has been so far. I just don't know. There's so many unknowns, and nobody knows.
Right.
That's a very
All over the
reasonable
place.
assumption.
Yeah.
Well, it could resurge even before, just from relaxing restrictions, it could resurge. So,
Sure.
right,
Sure.
there is a lot of uncertainty. So I was just curious if it had come up at all.
Yeah. It's a big
Anyway,
question
thank
mark.
you.
Okay. So a lot of information that came out tonight. I guess, are there any other questions that anyone has or any thoughts? Okay. My sense from the discussion and what has been.
Anyone know a good vacations? Anyone know a good vacation spot where I can get them away from it all? Just kidding.
The beaches.
Yeah, unfortunately.
The beaches in Sarasota are closed, Scott.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ron.
I was just going to say, I think, you know, it sounds to me, obviously, the one thing we can do is try and provide clarity where we can. a lot of what you shared tonight does that. My thought is that Peggy's probably going to take the lead on this. Does this group think that we should be creating through Scott what it is, or do we allow Scott just to go right to Peggy on that? I don't want to duplicate the process.
And I think in some ways the situation is so fluid that I think it would be really hard for us to give any hard directives.
Yeah, and Peggy's looking at the big picture. She's got, you know, all of the plates going at this time. I think if it comes from her and, you know, we're just informed so we can pass it on to people who ask us, that's excellent.
Okay.
And I think that, as I said previously, I think that what Scott brought to us in the beginning of this meeting, you know, should go out to every, I get asked every day, what about these issues? And I think, I know it's on the website, I know it's been covered, et cetera, but I think, you know, I think that the Madison resident needs to know what Scott just said to us in terms of the programs and things coming down the line, et cetera, just as an update. It can't possibly hurt. And it can only, you know, enhance understanding and communication.
The only caveat, Vince, of course, is by the time something gets printed up and sent out, it may have changed already.
Well, but it's out, but it's there. They have, you know, there's nothing wrong with communicating.
So
That's
maybe
my only
the
thought.
ask is, yeah, that's a fair point on both sides. Maybe the ask is, you know, if the emergency ordinance is going to go out, should we be prepared through Scott to, you know, make the recommendation to Peggy, here are all the things Beach and Rec is doing, and that that's just part of it. The ordinance is very black and white and tactical. There's a lot of other questions that Scott's answered tonight. And it's a really valid point. Whatever goes out will be outdated the minute it goes, but, and maybe we just direct people back to the website from the most recent updates, but, you know.
Well,
So
I'm
Scott, is that
assuming-
reasonable? I know you already drafted something. Go ahead, Pam.
I would assume that
Or
if
is that empty?
that kind of an executive order was going out, that it would be picked up in the press, so that something would go out in the source. Or Scott, do you know what Peggy's plan is for making
Her plan is to,
public?
her plan for the executive order is to be enacted by this weekend.
Okay, and then so how is and so she'll communicate it through the town newsletters or emails.
That and the website.
And the website. And
Yep.
do you think it'll get picked up by the source? Because
Oh, I'm sure she'll make sure it's picked up by the source, but then it's going to be outdated as well. So,
yes.
so it will already be a week because their deadline is Wednesday, I think. So
Yeah.
they'll get it Wednesday. So we're already a weekend past us checking residency because we're going to start this weekend.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but she'll do one of those calls, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be, I mean, she's tested on those calls because they're timed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's getting a lot better because they don't go on forever and then all of a sudden it ends. It's like you're listening to it and it's like, what? So she's getting to be more concise. I think she's doing a good job trying to keep people updated.
Yeah.
And we got to try to support what's going on with the town, and we got to roll with it. I mean, I have in my 41 years never seen this.
No.
So,
None of us
I
have.
mean, it's crazy.
None of us have.
Yeah. Just want everybody safe. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll second that
So,
motion.
yes. So it's 8 o'clock.
All in
You know, the goal is
favor.
to get an update. Yeah, all in favor, that's it. So we got updates from Scott. We wanted to know where he was at. I think we had some questions answered. I think it's a little bit of a wait and see. There's nothing really for us to decide tonight, and I think it's really, Scott has told us and committed, he'll keep us updated. If there's nothing else that anyone wants to share or ask a question about, we could wrap it up. I'm open to that if you guys want to
do
keep
have
going.
one or two updates as far
Sure.
as projects go.
Great.
We have been invited to the planning meeting, Zoom meeting. Mike Harkin Engineering, who's representing us and the P&Z for Cottage Road, the kayak launch. So hopefully that's going to be approved on Thursday night. So then I can start moving forward on trying to get work done on that. So we get that done. Salt Meadow Restroom, we just did the soil pit, test pit analysis portion of the new septic system, because the previous septic system, I think, was a little bit too large and included a grease trap, because the original building was going to have a concession stand, which we're not. So we've totally redesigned that. That will have to go through the health department for approval, which I don't see any problems with. And then we'll be trying to move forward with a permit to buy the building and get that installed and constructed. Because it is a kit. I do have to get the foundation in, septic system in, and then the pavilion erected. So I'm going to be working hard at that. West Wharf, I'm waiting on a quote to drive the piles for the emergency dock for the fire department. I have to have that done so the fireboat can be on a dock instead of the mooring posts. So that's a wait and see attitude at the moment. And we did have that last big storm where people were down at East Wharf watching the storm, and five car, whatever car it is now on Middle Beach, down there lapping up the waves as they came over the road. Well, it came up and over Garden Point bulkhead and created a washout behind the wall. So we're in the process of filling that up, and so it doesn't cave in further. So we have that on our plate, as well as still moving forward with the grounds building. We have to raise the elevation of the ground and then finish up on electrical, gas, cable, and then the guys will be in that building. So pushing as hard as I can with that. I'm waiting on the electrician to come back. But those are the three big ones, on top of the playground at Rockland, which is set to be installed by the end of June. We may have to fence it off because the playgrounds may not be open, but at least it'll be in place. So that's what I got.
And what about the pavilion at Salt Meadow?
That's what I was just talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
I call it pavilion. The restroom pavilion.
And Scott, what was going on at East Wharf? They were continuing that barrier down into the water. Is that us or?
No, that was a Facebook thing this weekend. The contractor who was hired by the people at 118 Middle Beach to replace the groin that they have going out into Long Island Sound pulled out in the fall, and he came back, requested to come back. It's going to be done prior to Memorial Weekend. He's going to be out of there. It was all over social media. What's this? It's noisy, etc. And with the help of Scott Murphy, I explained what it is. It's not a town project. It's private. It's going to help us. We're not paying for it. We got to live with it. He'll be done and out of there. And he was able to shut it down, I guess. But it's a groin that's been there for over 30 years, and it started disintegrating. So the people wanted to replace it. So we said yes. They have a DEP permit. So it's getting replaced, and that'll stop the wave action coming from the west, which I think contributed to some of the wharf damage in the past few storms, where actually Public Works came down and sealed it up and did a very nice job in the wharf. It was starting to undermine the wharf itself, so they sealed it up. Hopefully it held, because the tide rise, it's hard to get cement to dry that fast. But we may be pulling in more riprap and revetment to help protect the wharf coming from the west.
Okay.
That's where we're at on that.
Good to know. I didn't see it on social media. I was down there walking and I saw it. So, okay.
Yep.
Good.
Okay. That's all I got.
Anything else the group wants to discuss? Okay. If not, I think we'll entertain a motion to adjourn and call it a night.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a
I'll
second?
second it.
All right. MP got the second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Excellent. Scott, you did great. Thank you for putting this together. It was good to see everyone. I'm glad everyone's healthy and safe. And we'll wait for updates from you, Scott, and from Peggy.
Okay. Stay safe,
All
everybody.
right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Yeah, stay safe,
Be healthy.
everyone. Yep.
Night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.